Hey there, Mimi. We are learning more about the 4 survivors out of 10 that the Coast Guard said did survive that crash, who have been brought here to Harborview. We know that they're all in their 60s. The patients here at Harborview, 3 are in satisfactory condition. 1 is in serious condition and is in intensive care. They have injuries such as fractures to the ribs, pelvis, arms, and spine. Now, of those 10 survivors, the Coast Guard says 4 have died, 2 are still missing. The cruise line, however, is reporting that 5 people have died. I want to take you to some video. This is brand new video that we got earlier this morning of the sightseeing plane, one of the sightseeing planes that was involved in this crash. This was taken a couple days before the collision, but both the planes involved in yesterday's crash are those single-engine float planes. Most of the people involved in the crash yesterday in Ketchikan were passengers of the Royal Princess. That's a cruise ship that actually passed through Seattle on Friday. Princess Cruises says that Ketchikan Air was flying a sightseeing excursion sold exclusively through the cruise line, carrying 10 passengers. At 1 p.m. local time, there was a mid-air collision with another plane carrying 4 other cruise passengers. That flight was part of an independent tour. The NTSB is right now investigating what went wrong.
There is something that we look at, and we usually have some experts from our aviation staff that will look into weather information. But again, that's just part of one of many factors that we'll look at as part of our investigation.
That clip was from a press conference held by the NTSB earlier today on the East Coast. Ketchikan Air says they are fully cooperating with their investigation. Live in Seattle, Vanessa Mashanya, King 5 News. Back to you guys.